their sit-down, Teray asked the singer outright if he liked teenage girls, to which Kelly replied,
"When you say teenage, how old are we talking?"
"Girls who are teenagers."
Yo! Yes, everybody, we are back with some more One Piece! Woohoo! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We're here with the post-time skip reviews, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are officially past the time skip in One Piece. Your boys been looking forward to this. I did know that there was a time skip. Obviously, y'all knew just throughout my entire time in the anime and manga space. I knew it was coming eventually, but as far as the circumstances of what happened with it, I didn't know. Yada, yada, yada. There's been like 6 One Piece videos by me at this point, so y'all should already know how we get down over here. But, we are here with the Fishman Island arc, ladies and gentlemen, and going into the arc, I did hear some things. I did hear that some people were not necessarily fans of the arc. I also did hear that this kind of starts with One Piece's decline, but some people disagree with that. Some people say One Piece is the best it's ever been, so I don't know. Well, you let me know. You let me know down in the comments, dear viewer. What do you think? As per usual, I'll be giving you all my thoughts and opinions over the entire arc and just my blind raw reactions if I don't go over everything in necessary depth. Also, if I don't cover anything that is super small or something that is like semi-major, I do apologize. I'm kind of freestyling it. I do have some notes in front of me, but other than that, you're just getting raw, unprotected, just turkey-basted Daffy. That was fucking creepy. But before we get too deep into the video, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. We are on our way to 20,000 subscribers. I would love to have you around. Did you know that 76% of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribed? You should definitely change that. Let's make it a cool 60. Like goal for this video, let's make it 900. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump on into the Fishman Island arc of One Piece. So before we officially get into Fishman Island, we do need to cover where the Straw Hats were teleported after the Sabaody archipelago arc by Kuma. Now, Luffy himself, he was transported to the Amazon Lily, which we did cover, and there he met Boa Hancock, snuck in and pulled down. Obviously, we have the whole Marineford incident is where Luffy gets a huge buff to his bounty. And during the time skip, he trained with Rayleigh on Ruskaina. He basically learned hockey mastery as well as just kind of, you know, in the super dangerous environment. So Luffy already did grow up like this with his childhood with Garp, but more so we just kind of see just how strong Luffy has gotten. And there are some notable character changes within Luffy post-time skip. I didn't notice them as much in Fishman Island with his character because he's mostly the same, but I did kind of notice some stuff with Casual. I'm getting my arcs confused. I'm so sorry. Zoro's transported to the island with Mihawk and Perona, and Zoro asked Mihawk to train him in swordsmanship. Now, again, I say that this is poignant because Zoro has always been a character to say things with his actions, right? So we know that he was cursing his own weakness because he was taking all of that punishment from Kuma at the end of Thriller Bark, but because of that, he was not able to perform at his best and defend his friends and found family at the end of Sabaody. So obviously he's putting that to the side and he says, train me as a swordsman. And Mihawk says, why? Zoro says, I want to beat you. We know that if Zoro were to eventually beat Mihawk, he would be the strongest man in the world. And the Pirate King would definitely need the strongest swordsman in the world on his team, would he not? So I do like that. Zoro trained with the gorillas and all that. Zoro has a very cute dynamic with Perona as well, very kind of like sibling-esque. I could see them being shipped. They're cute. They're cute. I like it. Nami is transported to a weather island very similar to Skypiea, Weatheria, and she learns advanced weather science and navigation techniques from a bunch of sky wizards. Sanji is transported to Okama Kingdom, where Ikenov resides. Now there, Sanji actually was able to encounter a couple different techniques. He has a better grapple on Diablo Jimbei. He also learned Skywalk, which is what CP9 uses. Sanji, as we get into this review, this is where this post time skip Sanji I don't like at all. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It literally feels like Sanji got cloned at the end of the time skip and he got replaced. I have no idea who this character is. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Hold on, we'll get to it. Usopp is transported to the Bowling Archipelago, trained and has earned several survival skills and pop greens with Heracles. Heracles the GOAT. I love Heracles. He's so earnest and just wanting to help Usopp. He's just so nice, and I don't know, man. I like his design as well. Again, I would think it'd be very interesting if Heracles was just some like great warrior from some lost civilization that just lived there for centuries and nobody knew where he was or something. That'd be pretty interesting. Chopper was transported to the Torino Kingdom. He learned new medical knowledge and upgraded the Rumble Ball control, as we'll see later on at the end of the arc. He did also get a redesign, and I don't really know if I like it. Chopper got turned into a marketable plushie. They trimmed all his baby fat off, man. I don't know if I necessarily like new design Chopper. I mean, he's cute still, but I don't know. It just kind of threw me off when I saw him. I don't know. His head's just so big, but I think it's just his hat. I don't know. Robin got transported to Tequila Wolf, and she was forced into labor, but she eventually escaped, and she actually met up with the Revolutionary Army, which is what Luffy's father, Monkey D. Dragon, leads. Now, as far as the knowledge that she gained there, as far as I know, we still don't know 100% of what all she learned over there, especially concerning Dragon. I'd be very curious to see what goes on. There's a mention of a character named Joy Boy at the end of Fishman Island, and I'm thinking that has something to do with the poneglyphs, and there's some big catastrophe. I don't know. We'll get there. We'll get there. Frankie was transported to Katakuri Island, and he found Vegapunk's old lab. He upgraded his new body, and he now has the Frankie Shogun. Frankie has massive upgrades now. I do like his post-time skip design. His old time skip design, I did like a little more, but I still like it. It's still very ridiculous. It's still very show-offish. It's very super. So I like it. I can get down with that. Brook is transported to Namakura Island, and he actually becomes a rock star. He becomes the Soul King, and he actually masters soul-related powers, which is very interesting because the Revive fruit, I originally thought would only affect his soul, but no, it can affect others too. So I'm very curious to see what Oda does with that as well. So we'll see. It's funny because Kuma actually provided the Straw Hats with exactly what they needed as far as their own perfect training arcs, basically. I mean, obviously we know that Oda was setting them up to get buffs, and he did it in a way to where it made sense narratively. Everybody coincidentally got exactly what they needed. Chopper got a more advanced medical knowledge. Usopp worked on his survival skills and facing bravery. He still struggles with that, but it's he's doing a bit better. Brook obviously is now a rock star, like things of that nature, right? They got what they needed. So we have the Straw Hats reunion at the Sabaody archipelago. We have them all actually just clearing out these pacifistas. I believe Luffy one-shots a pacifista as well, which is absolutely insane. I mean, if you want to demonstrate a power leap, that's exactly how you do it. I mean, Zoro and Sanji are in a race to see which one can dispatch one faster. So again, this is where I start to not like Sanji. The first thing that he does is he starts just like saying, "Oh my God, there's real women everywhere," and he sees Perona and he goes up and sniffs her. All right, bro. All right, bro. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, whatever, though. I just really don't like post-time skip Sanji because every other word out of his mouth is something related to a woman. The problem that we run into is that all the Straw Hats have gags, right? Like Frankie's a goofball, super, like Cola, all that. Chopper is a bit gullible. Robin can be a bit dark. Luffy is just a glutton. Zoro gets lost. But none of these affect the plot, and it's not every single time that they speak, every single dialogue action, right? It's just so heavily ingrained into Sanji's personality post time skip. It's just obnoxious. He was cool. He was a bit suave. Yeah, he was a simp, but he was kind of goofy pre time skip. But man, I just like imagine in Skypiea when it's Sanji, Luffy, and Usopp on the boat. I feel like pre-time skip Sanji, like he was focused, like yeah, he was like wondering what Nami and Robin were doing, but I feel like the entire time, if this was post-time skip Sanji, he would just be like, where's Nami, where's Robin, they're probably in so much danger, I don't care about you two. I don't like him. I don't like him. But anyway, we begin the journey to Fishman Island. Luffy actually demonstrates just how much he learned with Rayleigh, and he actually takes down 50,000 people with just hockey power alone. So, I mean, where does he scale? I have no idea, but he's climbing the totem pole faster and faster and faster each arc. I feel like we're gonna start getting into some craziness that I don't necessarily know if goes well with One Piece, but we'll see. I don't know. I just don't want like reality bending, you know, continental level type shit. I don't know. I'm sure some power scaling craziness that's out there somewhere on some Reddit thread with a bunch of nerds that I don't care about, but I don't know. We'll see. So on the way to Fishman Island, the crew actually runs into a pod of whales, and initially I thought they actually ran into Laboon, and so did Brook, and he actually, you know, begins singing the song that him and his crew recorded on their deathbeds, essentially. It was a comedic moment, but actually was decently emotional. I did like it. And so we actually run into Vanderdecken, who has the target fruit. Now, Vanderdecken, as far as antagonists, dude, the Fishman Island, the antagonists just are not, they don't really move me, man. It's somewhere with a similar thing with Skypiea, like it could be a lot more interesting, but the villains are just not, they're not charismatic. The best villain out of all of them is Hody Jones and his direct connection to Arlong. Now, people think that he is, you know, basically Diet Arlong. I think he's interesting just because of the fact that you have all this history with the persecution and harassment that the fishmen themselves encountered. But other than that, there's nothing that makes Hody Jones interesting or stick out as a villain. Vanderdecken, his entire squad of trash cans, there's nothing interesting about them. They suck. They just suck. Like, at least Kaku turned into a giraffe, and it was funny, but I don't know, man. So when we actually get to Fishman Island, we're greeted with these vibrant designs of the Coral Town, and we have King Neptune and Princess Shirahoshi introduced. And Luffy actually going on and exploring like a child he is. And we have some pretty humorous scenes with Luffy and Shirahoshi. Now, Shirahoshi is the princess of this castle, and she is not allowed to leave because Vanderdecken is constantly sending things her way, whether it be notes, whether it be axes. Just, he's obsessed with her, he's crazy, and he wants to marry into this family to get all his power and wealth. And he's just generally a creep. Now, Luffy, being the nice guy that he is, he's like, oh, well, you want to go on a walk? I'll take you on a walk. Come with me. And Shirahoshi actually manages to stuff herself into her pet shark for the meantime. But the rest of the Straw Hats are kind of meandering around, exploring the Fishman Island. Sanji, during this arc, until the very end, does absolutely nothing. He suffers a nosebleed, and it shoots up into the sky and reveals their location. That's part of what I'm talking about. I really don't like the fact that his gag is actually affecting the plot. It's annoying. It sucks. It's like if the Straw Hats were at the end of Alabasta, right, when that bomb was about to go off. Can you imagine if like Zoro got lost like multiple times over, and like he couldn't find Mr. One? It takes away from the experience. It takes me out of it. I'm constantly disappointed. And then Sanji's life was actually at risk. Like, what? I thought it was a gag, but no, Sanji legitimately could have bled out and died. Like, come on, dog. Like, I don't want to hear but Daffy, he was trapped on an island for 2 years. You would act that way too. Number one, no, I wouldn't. And number two, I'm tired of Oda treating Sanji like his personal speaking piece, man. Oda has talked multiple times about how he's just like, well, this is what I would do if I had this power. I would spy on women. Not to mention the fact that Oda himself kind of hangs out with some creepy dudes individually. Let me tell you something. The second One Piece ends, when I tell you the documentaries that's gonna come out on Oda, they gonna be legendary. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Do some research and find out who Oda is friends with. I'm not just talking about Rurouni Kenshin's author, just other stuff. I'm just saying, Jay. I'm just saying. So then we have the backstory with Queen Otohime as well as Fisher Tiger. Now, Fisher Tiger was revered by the Fishman as a hero, and he freed them from slavery, essentially, and he was instrumental in that. And so we get the backstory with Fisher Tiger, and I did like it. It was a little long. It did run a little long, but I do think it was necessary. You see Arlong, who was always very prideful being a fishman. He always, thought about it as part of his biggest strength. And then you have Jimbei, who is his cooler counterpart, and he never really agrees with these brutal acts of violence that the fishmen engage in, but more specifically Arlong. Jimbei was the biggest thing that was keeping Arlong in check. And while, yeah, Arlong hated it, they basically grew up together and they were essentially brothers. So Fisher Tiger himself actually climbed Marijua, he freed the slaves and everything. And at one point he reveals that he himself was a slave. and people were like, but you're so awesome, you're so great. And it kind of sells this idea that even, you know, our biggest heroes can still be affected by things such as prejudice and systems that were built to break them down and, you know, reduce their humanity to nothing. But eventually the fishmen actually encounter a human child who was actually sold off into slavery. Koala actually was a human slave that was given to the Sun Pirates, and additionally Arlong wants to just kill her, torture her, whatever, and Fisher Tiger was never with any of that. He was always revealed as a hero and all that, and Boa Hancock describes him as just like being angry and full of wrath and fury, but we see that's not really the case, that all that anger was placed towards the oppression and harassment that the fishmen occurred. So you have this interesting dynamic where this minority encounters someone that's in exactly the same position. You have someone that is also in an opportunity where they have little to no power in their own autonomy, and they are not seen as a sentient being. And over time, the Sun Pirates, they begin to care for this little girl. They love her, and they're sad to see her off and return to her own village. And unfortunately, Fisher Tiger is attacked and betrayed by the people of Koala's village. But the entire time, Fisher Tiger himself was never mad or angry with Koala herself. It really speaks volumes to his character, right? And it's interesting because the Sun Pirates, they're mad, they're fucking hot, they're upset. Well, I can't believe humans did this to us. We're gonna go back, we're about to get that shit back in blood. This is that we can never trust a human again. And Fisher Tiger himself, he's like, it's terrible, it's awful, what they did was terrible, we cannot retaliate, we cannot sink to their level. And when he needs a blood transfusion, obviously before this we had revealed that fishmen actually can be compatible with humans, but Fisher Tiger, he says, no, I still can't do it. I still can't hold it in my heart to love humans. This could have very easily been a situation where it's like, no, I need it, or no, they're just the same as us. But no, he feels like a real character. He says, yes, do not take up these acts of violence, but I still can't forgive these people for what I can't. It's not possible for me. That's a very realistic reaction to how some people will react to certain things. Ask your older relatives, if you're, you know, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. Ask your older relatives with some of the things that they occurred years and years and years and years ago, and you will be surprised that even now they still harbor some of those feelings. Not all people, but it's very hard to forgive and forget. It's not possible. That some of that trauma, it's gonna sit and linger and fester in your brain. You can do your hardest to try to move past it and be the bigger person, but it's just it's hard. But I really do like that aspect of Fisher Tiger not necessarily forgiving humans. And you have this very interesting thing with Hody Jones. Hody Jones as a kid loved the Sun Pirates. He's like, they were that thing, man. They were so cool. They were sick. Those humans, they deserve what they got. And eventually, as we get deeper and deeper into the conflict where Hody Jones' new Fishman Pirates are going up against the Straw Hats, one of his sons asked him, Hody Jones, what did these people do to you? Why do you hate the humans so much? What happened? And Hody Jones says, nothing. They didn't do anything to me. That was it was terrifying, but it was poignant. I don't know about you, but I personally have ran into people who have this same mindset. They'll hate white people, they'll hate Asian people, whatever. They'll hate a certain type of race, but then you ask them, what did they do specifically to you? What experience did you have personally? They don't have an answer. They don't say anything. They'll just bring up things that they've seen. Hody Jones being an example of the kind of hatred and vitriol that, like, these black tendrils that will come out and just attach to you and suck on, that you need, it takes time to heal and break those down, because if you don't, you have these children that end up being like this. On the flip side, while yes, some people did not own slaves themselves, as you start going down the totem pole and you start doing some research, those people had kids, those kids had kids, those kids had kids. Now, a lot of times, more recently, when people go out into the world, such as college or even the working force, they run into people that are different, have different backgrounds. It expands their worldview, and they come to understand, okay, there's more people than me. What I was brought up with may have been incorrect. And sometimes you just have a bad seed. Sometimes you just have a bad kid. It happens. Such as Hody Jones in this instance. He encountered none of the persecution that the humans had. He just heard about it secondhand, and he was like, you know what? Good enough for me. But other than that, Hody Jones really doesn't have a personality. I like his design. That's cool to me. But his other chumps that he has, I don't necessarily care for, man. The battle with 100,000 of these fodder characters, it was cool. It was essentially just served as showing off the Straw Hats' new abilities, right? I do like the battle that the Straw Hats had with the army. Luffy taking down, what was it, 10, 20, 30,000? What was it? It's like 70,000 of these goons with just pure aura and haki. That was cool. That was cool. I like it. Our little Straw Hat, he's getting more and more dangerous, man. I liked it. I can get down with that. I am interested to see what other members of the Straw Hat crew can get some haki as well. Most likely Zoro, probably Sanji, but maybe Robin. Robin with some haki would be cool. You know, armament, haki, arms and legs, that'd be cool. What about Usopp? Y'all imagine Usopp with like Conqueror's haki, like observation haki that was like through the roof? Could y'all imagine, bro? Like Ultra Instinct Usopp? That'd be, I could get down to that. I could get with that. I could get with that. What about Chopper? Can we get like Supreme Haki Chopper? That'd be sick. There's also a couple of different things that kind of bug me about this arc. The energy pills. The energy pills do feel kind of cheap, and they kind of do feel like a way to quickly escalate a threat. It feels artificial. I do like the fact that it's like, oh, it actually has these side effects where it makes you age, it makes you old and decrepit. But it just really felt like, dude, Hody Jones getting his ass beat by Luffy so many times. And he just kept popping more and more pills. He's like a SoundCloud rapper, and he's nigga just like popping perks 24/7 and leveled up. It just felt like he was artificially inflating himself as a threat. So were the pills a plot device? You let me know. You tell me. But this arc definitely did a bit too easy for the Straw Hats. I mean, there was no real threat. I didn't feel like the Straw Hats were necessarily challenged. You know what I mean? Again, I guess it's for them to flex. But even in Punk Hazard, they didn't really struggle. Oh, there's some dumb shit in there, which I'll get in that review as well. The Yeti brothers, just magically knocks out 3 of the Straw Hats, one of them being one of the strongest members of the crew. Okay, well, you don't show me. Yeah, sure. But we gotta talk about the pacing, dude. The pacing in the anime, oh my god. It was never really like bad before. Like, obviously you had the filler arcs and things of that nature, which I skipped all the filler arcs. Don't ask me to review a single filler arc because I'm not gonna do it. I don't have time for that. But I feel like generally speaking, like the anime was just like, it was a little slower than the manga, but it was doing okay. I don't know what happened, but the pacing got it was going like half a chapter an episode. It was getting nuts. I definitely do think that Fishman Island's reputation is hurt by the fact that the anime's pacing is just so off and terrible. I want to ask you guys 2 questions. I want you to respond in the comments. Do you guys think that Hody Jones is underrated, or do you think he's just a mid-villain? Or do you think he's great? God forbid, dude, God forbid if you think Hody Jones is a great villain in One Piece. Also, do you guys think that the Straw Hats are too OP here, or do you think they're finally earning their flowers and they actually earned the chance to flex here? Let me know. I'm curious. During their capture in the castle, you have Brook being able to expel his soul and kind of maneuver it like a ghost, like capture a ghost. Usopp with his green stars. You also have Nami with her improved weather abilities. Chopper now has mastered the monster point. He also has Kung Fu point. Kung Fu point's really cute. I like it. Just I like the English dub actually for Chopper's Kung Fu point as well. Frankie has made numerous additions to 1,000 Sunny, and Luffy has armament haki. He's actually mastered armament haki, which makes him just a very, very incredibly dangerous threat. I don't know what kind of training he had with Rayleigh, but bro, Luffy is a totally different beast post time skip. He also has something in his repertoire, Red Hawk, which is fire. But it works underwater. I don't think it's a Demon Slayer situation where the fire is not real, but yeah, man, that okay. I get down with the Red Hawk, man. It's cool. I like it. It's cool. You know, obviously fire relating back to for Ace, but I don't know. I feel like it's just used to farm aura. It doesn't really seem different from any of his other gum techniques, but I like it. It's cool. It's cool. I get down with that. Sanji airwalking after he gets back. That was interesting. But yeah, good stuff all around. Ish for the final battle, but I do want to talk about Jimbei. So Jimbei is, I don't want to say he carries this arc, but it's very interesting seeing the guilt that he has surrounding everything with Arlong. So Arlong, obviously, like I said, was basically his brother. And at one point, Jimbei actually makes a stipulation with the government to release Arlong. And so Arlong is just out in the East Blue, but he's not locked up. He's not in prison. He was, but not anymore. And so we have this whole plot with Hody Jones and Queen Otohime. And Queen Otohime, she wanted the segregation to end. She wanted people to actually be able to cohabitate with humans. And understandably, the Fishman people, they were like, I don't really know about this. They don't really like us, and they're inferior, and you have all this. But she was of the opinion that we need to heal. We need to leave this hatred and all this behind. And she inevitably gets killed for it by a human. Then we come to find out that actually that was manufactured by Hody Jones himself, and he killed her to get his shit off, to basically confirm what everybody was thinking. Oh, humans are terrible. They're awful. He essentially false flagged them, which is happens a lot. But Jimbei feels tremendous guilt for Arlong's terror, especially on Nami. I mean, Sanji straight up tells Jimbei to kill himself because he inadvertently caused everything that happened in Windmill Village. Bro, this nigga Sanji is an asshole. He is awful. Why would you say something like this? Like, Sanji is supposed to be kind. He's supposed to be smart, right? Like, yeah, he's not supposed to like men as much, but he's still a cool dude. Like, he saw the one dude that was literally like hired to kill him by, was it Don Krieg, I think? And then he was like, the dude was like, please, I'm hungry or whatever. And he still fed him anyway. Like what happened to that Sanji, bro? Like, what happened to, like, you ever heard of the Grand Blue? Like, what happened to that Sanji, man? Oh my, is this what Kanye fans feel like? Jesus. So at one point, Hody Jones plans to sink the Noah, which is this big ass ark. What was it used for? Was it literally Noah's Ark from the Bible? I don't know. Probably. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised because you have Shirahoshi having the ability to talk to these Neptunians, which are these large, like they're sea animals, but they're like dinosaurs basically. So it would not surprise me if there's like something biblical like Leviathans and things like that from the Bible. But Shirahoshi is actually revealed to be Poseidon, which is an ancient weapon setup. You have Jimbei's talk with Luffy about breaking cycles of hatred, and eventually actually Luffy was so damaged with this fight with Hody Jones. I don't really know how I feel about that because I really feel like Luffy's had worse beatings, and like Crocodile almost killed him. Like at the end of Marineford, he literally had a hole, like his chest like permanently scarred forever. He fought Hody Jones, and Hody Jones bit him a couple times, but he was gonna bleed out and die. I don't know, man. I don't like. But you actually have Jimbei doing a blood transfusion with Luffy and actually saving his life. So I do like that parallel, right? The slow healing process has begun. You can forgive but not forget, but it takes time. It's a process. And they do talk about how fishmen and humans are actually able to mate and actually reproduce. And so I'm very curious to see if there's a commentaries on like biracial folks that Oda will bring up in the future. Maybe, I don't know. So at the end of the arc, we have Big Mom actually sending some of her goons to say that actually, since Whitebeard's gone, this is my island now. And bro, number one, Big Mom looks terrifying. She looks so imposing in these panels here. Like, she looks like some sort of like eldritch horror. It reminds me of Mother's Milk. It's what Mother's Milk's mom, her silhouette looks like before she's actually revealed what she looks like. Yeah, I don't know. Big Mom looks kind of scary. And dude, Luffy, Luffy here, he is so hyped and ready to make a name for himself. Luffy got something. His nuts would just be swinging everywhere he goes. I love it. Luffy gets on the phone. He says, "Hey, is this Big Mom? Hey, let me tell you something. Fishman Island is my territory. Come do something about it." Bro, I was in awe, like, yo, the cojones, the stones on this young man. I go, rumble, young man, rumble. Talk those shit. Pop your shit off, man. Talk to him. That's what I'm talking about, man. Right on. Hey, I ain't mad at you, Luffy. I ain't mad at you. Do your thing, brother. Do your thing. And so with this, the Straw Hats actually depart for the New World. Yeah, man, let me tell you something. I just generally don't love this arc, man. I don't like anything that Sanji did. I think the flashbacks are the biggest part that I enjoyed of this arc, but the villains just suck. There's just not that much to talk about with this arc, man. I feel like my review here was shorter and not as consistent as my other ones, but I just wasn't in love with it. I wasn't necessarily wowed by anything that I read. I do like some of the commentary. I think the commentary was very strong, but the villains, they just served as to show off how strong the Straw Hats were. Shirahoshi as a character, she's fine. We figured she was gonna do something, but now everything else is just kind of mid. I didn't really care for it. Nothing really wowed me about this arc, man. Maybe just my personal preference. Editor, actually, I'm very curious to see. Let me know. Editor, put how you feel about Fishman Island on screen. You can write a paragraph or something. I don't know. I do like the designs, though, of the Straw Hats, though. I love Zoro's new design, obviously. I like Luffy's new design. He does look a bit older. I think he looks taller, too. He looks taller, a bit more muscular. Usopp definitely probably had the biggest glow up. Usopp, he looks way muscular. Obviously, he got all super big and fat on the island, but then he actually, you know, he started putting in that work. He's on that Alan Richardson diet, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, Nami went up like 3 cup sizes. This nigga Odo is a fucking gooner. I don't know how else to describe him. Robin, straight up, they bleached her skin. I'm sad. I don't know if I'll ever financially recover from that. Sanji had the least impactful redesign. I mean, his hair swooshed a different way, and he has some stubble, but that's about it. I don't give a fuck about what he does, man. I don't care. And then after this video, we got Punk Hazard. Oh, Punk Hazard is so bad. Oh god. This is the point where after Water 7 and Eddie's Lobby, I could not stop put down One Piece. I blitzed through Marineford in like a day to like 2 days. After this, I just have not had the same rush to keep reading One Piece like this, man. I don't. I mean, I'm starting Dressrosa. We're at the Coliseum now. Well, Punk Hazard was a struggle, man. I did not like it at all. There was not a single thing. Okay, there wasn't a single thing I like about Punk Hazard, but would I put it up there with Long Ring, Long Land? No, but is it slightly better? Sure, but everything else is just garbage. I don't like it. No, dude. But anyway, it's me, boy Daffy, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Fishman Island. Do you guys like it? Do you hate it? Do you think this is the downfall of One Piece, or do you think that there's some stuff in store for me that I have no idea yet? I don't know. Not a super great start to post-time skip, because none of the Straw Hats really do anything besides Luffy. I feel like no one else really has a dedicated arc here. The one person that actually has screen time besides Luffy, Shirahoshi, as well as the other fishermen, is Sanji, and I've explained how I just don't like it. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. It's me, boy Daffy, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this next video. Please make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and pray for me when I eventually do this Punk Hazard review, because I am not gonna like it. Oh god.